I'm making my Plum Hazelnut Kugel. So to start, I'm boiling some wide egg noodles in a pot of salted water. I'm cooking these until they're just shy of where I want the texture to ultimately be because they will continue to cook once they're in their custard mixture and in the oven. This is a traditional Ashkenazi dish. I grew up with it, so it's super nostalgic. Kugel is basically a bread pudding, but instead of bread, you use egg noodles. It's just sweet, creamy, noodly. There's nothing not to love in here. These noodles are tender, so I'll drain them, but they're not totally mushy. They still have kind of a bite. And then while they're still hot, I'll toss them with some melted butter so that they don't stick together and also to add richness. This big bowl of buttered noodles is actually my favorite food of all time. Okay, I'll set these aside and then mix up my custard mixture. Sour cream, ricotta, whole milk, all the dairy. That's how you make kugel. Some people use cottage cheese in their kugel. I use ricotta. It's fluffy, it's mild, and can be sweet, it can be savory, and a cup of milk to smooth things out. I'll sweeten this with 3/4 cup of sugar. Crack in 5 eggs. Eggs help it set. And make it so that if you wanted to serve this kugel in slices, it'll hold up to that. I'll season with 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, a tablespoon of vanilla, the flavor of coziness, some cinnamon and cardamom. Cardamom adds a floral citrusy note and makes it extra special. This is a holiday. There's a lot of rich heaviness going on in this bowl, so I'll brighten it up by adding the zest and juice of half a lemon. I'll whisk this until it's smooth, and then we'll be ready for the noodles. So I've got both my mom and my mother-in-law coming to eat today, and we're gonna eat outside in a sukkah, which is the traditional hut that you eat in on Sukkot that people used to build out in the fields, which made harvesting easier because they were right there. And sometimes people even sleep in their huts, but we're just gonna have a great, delicious, cozy meal. And I'm excited because now that it's not too hot anymore, it'll feel good to sit outside and eat. This is smooth, it's creamy. I'll fold in the noodles. These pretty noodly waves are gonna catch all of this custard. It looks really saucy before it goes into the oven, but when it bakes up, the noodles absorb some of the custard and the eggs help it firm up. It's gonna come together in a beautiful, rich texture. Okay, I'll get a casserole dish. This has been buttered. It's a 9x13. There is no shortage of casserole dishes in the Midwest. I'll spread it out evenly. And now it's time for our crunchy topping. So I'll lavishly cover these noodles with a combination of crispy corn cereal, chopped rich hazelnuts, molassesy brown sugar, cinnamon, cardamom, salt, and melted butter, so it gets extra crunchy in the oven. Kind of reminds me of leaves falling on the ground in fall. Yum. This will go in the oven now at 325 degrees for about 40 minutes until it's set golden on top and it'll get slightly puffed. If that isn't the smell of fall, I don't know what is. This looks beautiful as it is, but I want to add a pop of color with some sliced plums. Plums are so juicy and sweet, and that sourness is such a nice complement to the sweet nuttiness in this kugel. I'll sprinkle with some coarse turbinado sugar for extra sweetness and crunch. This will go back in the oven now under the broiler for a few minutes just to get those plums curled and crisp around the edges. You are one pretty kugel. Look at the glossy plums with their crisp edges. Some of the noodles got crunchy on top too. Okay, the perfect bite. A lot of noodles, a lot of crispy stuff, a plum. It's creamy, it's cozy, and the combination of the sour plum with that nutty hazelnut topping is unbelievable. Wow.